I'm sick of this. I should just give up. This is dumb. I can't do it. I'm over it. Ah! Just kidding. Today's video is going to be a bit of a combo. Now, my wife will tell you that I am very hard on myself and I'm sort of negative when it comes to things that I do. So like, out of all of the things that I've ever built on this property, on other people's property, there's only a few things that I'm like actually really proud of. And, you know, I'm proud overall of what we've done here, but almost everything that I've ever done, I've looked at and I've said, man, I could do that better. I could do that differently if I just had the time, if I just had the patience, if I just had the knowledge, if I just had the tool, if I just had the something. And if you watched our last video, I tried to make a charcuterie board out of some cherry slabs that we had on our wood. And now I screwed it up. And I'm not sure if that was me or the tool, but you know, the planer ended up not planing very well and sort of ruined it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Well, it is kind of here because I failed on that one. Tried to make a charcuterie board and I failed. Just like the first chainsaw bear that I ever tried to carve with a chainsaw looks horrible. But luckily, I don't know whether it's drive that I have or just stubbornness, where it's like if I see something and I want to do it, I just want to do it. And I usually will work at it and push myself until I either do it or I get really frustrated and I break something. So that's not the goal here. And today, and I actually carved, I think, what is my best chainsaw carving to date yesterday, which I am very excited about. That's pretty cool, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a little bit. But for now, I'm gonna try to carve some chainsaw trees, so what we usually do right after Halloween, we do something called pumpkins for packas, which is we have people bring their old pumpkins, their jack-o'-lanterns, and they drop them off and we feed them to our chickens. And in return for them dropping them off, we give them a little tour of the farm. We show them what we're up to. They meet the emus, they meet the alpacas, they meet the chickens. It's a big thing. And I would like to have, in addition to our normal tent setup with our hats being displayed and our yarn and our laser cut ornaments, I'd also like to have some chainsaw carvings just to see, you know, test the market, see if we can sell it, you know, at least get our money back on all the chainsaw equipment that I've bought. That would be cool. And, you know, having people come in and look at them will also give me sort of a market cap or a market, you know, research to see if, you know, the price is right or it's too high or too low, or if there's even a market for it at all. So the goal here is to carve a couple of chainsaw trees. And now I have a piece of maple. We had this guy cut down, which I think he's probably going to be too punky, but I needed to bring him down anyway. But so we had a couple of big old sugar maple trees. Well, actually it was one sugar maple tree that was dead. We had that taken down in addition to a cottonwood tree. So I was going to use this because I like to have a little curve in it, and this has some of the branches sticking out, but it's not looking so great on that one. So this is like a stack of wood that I had originally for my sawmill, and some of it is a little too curved, and this pine is really knotty, so it doesn't give me good straight cuts on the sawmill. Because when a sawmill blade hits a knot, it'll either try to go up and over it a little bit, or it'll dig under it to get through it because the knot is so thick. But anyway, I have actually this white oak here, might be pretty good, but it's really hardwood. I don't know if that'll do well, but I'll see. I got some stuff around here, so I'm gonna pick some wood up, throw it on my thing, and that sounded a little dirty. I'm gonna grab some wood and start carving. All right, so I was gonna use that pine piece, but I forgot that that one on the ground has got a lot of rot in it. And so in between the bark and the actual log, it's got a lot of dirt and stuff. So pulled a piece of maple, see how it goes. All right, so I just screwed up right there. Cut it a little too deep. I wanted too much of a curve and have to start over, but that's okay. Live and learn, right? I'll check back in a minute. All right, so this one came out much better. So you can see, I think it looks better when there's just a little bit of motion in it. So that way the tree's kind of going that way. I think it's a little more fun. So now I got this big cone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start making little circles around, and that'll be like the little branches, you know. I don't have any pine trees out here, but you've seen trees, you know. Anyway, so I'm gonna draw it out with a little lumber crayon and then get going. Okay, so this is my second go of it. I should fix this line right here. What the hell's going on right there? That looks a little too... So come just around here, like that. So now that I got my lines sketched out, so I'm gonna go around and just do a light, basically just go in a little bit with the tip of the bar, and then I'll go in on an angle to sort of give these some more depth, and hopefully it works. The last one I did like this, it came out, I was really happy with it, but I think it could use more cone shape. So I sort of just did like a little angle right there. But I think now what I'm gonna do is try to go in on like more of an angle to take more of this off. And we'll see how it looks. The benefit of having all of this wood is that I have lots to practice with. All right, so this is probably not like the worst chainsaw tree ever carved, but it's definitely not my best. I don't really like it. There was a couple times I thought that going in and up would look better, but I think it doesn't. So, learning experience. I think it looks okay. You know, I'm frustrated with it, but I'm sure Catherine will say it looks great. So, you know, I am lucky to have, like I said before, someone like that, a support system to push me to do cool stuff. You know, like she actually said earlier today that she does a good job of complicating our lives, which is true at the surface, but she also does inject an awful lot of fun into our lives. And I love her and I love my life, and I would never be doing something like this if it weren't for her. And, you know, I get some sort of joy out of this. You know, looking back at this over my shoulder, it looks like crap, and I hate it, and I hate it. I hate it. Because it's just like, it's not what I envision in my head. And one of the hardest things that I found about this is really just figuring out how to find the look inside of the log. Because it's like trying to get a 3D view of what's in there and how to get to it ends up being really hard. So I'm not sure about this one here, but I got plenty more wood. So I think I'm gonna try to bang one more of these out, because this is really only gonna become profitable if I can do these quickly. So this happened actually pretty quick. So I'm gonna try to make, well, I was gonna try to make three. Three was my goal before we have dinner with my parents. But I'm gonna try to just do one more and then go up and do a little finishing on this and see if we can get it settled and finished. So I'll check back in just a minute. All right, so this is our second one. And even though it's the first straight one I did, I feel like my technique was much better. So I sort of forgot that the key with these is to go and take out. So, we make that initial small line, and then the idea is to go in on an angle and sort of make this end sharp. And so I just, kind of forgot about the primary objective with the other one, because I was focused over here on making this sharp instead of this. You know what I'm saying? So I was focused on the angle of this piece rather than the angle of this. So I am actually pretty damn happy with this one. Just need to remove some of this bark, and then I think I will cut it off right here, and then maybe just leave the bottom part with the bark. So I'll take this part off, maybe just paint it and be done. This was one of the first maple pieces that I actually ever got delivered from my buddy at Jim's Tree Service. It's the ambrosia maple, so you can see there's these little lines in here from the ambrosia beetle. All right, so that's cool. So I think I'm just gonna take the rest of the bark off that one, cut it and bring it up there and maybe do some finishing and see how it goes. Hey man, Polish pride. So the other part of this video was just sort of how to cope with failure. And like, I'm not a therapist or anything. I end up failing on some things. There's some things that I can't do. But like Catherine had said, you're good at everything you do. You're good at everything you try to do. I mean, I knew nothing about sawmills, but now we have a sawmill, and I've built 2 entire barns out of sawmill lumber. I've sold a bunch of lumber using the sawmill. So, I mean, even though I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time, it works out. And, I think the reason for that, and for like my success with this tree, the second tree here, is like, you got to find what your niche is. Because I really feel strongly that anybody can do anything for the most part. Obviously I'm not going to win an Olympic gold medal in sprinting, 6'4" flat feet and clunky AF. But I am a city guy who's come out here to live in the country with my wife, and we're out here. I never would have thought I'd have 30 alpacas. I never thought I would have one alpaca. I didn't even know what an alpaca was. You just got to sort of find what you're good at. And I started carving a bear yesterday, and it came out pretty well, and I was pretty happy with it. But it really wasn't exactly what I wanted. There's this one picture of this super cute little bear that looks so simple that I really want to do, and I feel strongly about, that I'm going to keep trying to get. But I tried yesterday and couldn't get it. But I did get as close to a sellable bear as I have gotten ever with my progress yesterday. And now with these trees, I feel pretty good about selling these trees. I think this is something that I can probably do. So maybe what I should do is just focus on that for the time being. Because the other thing is, doing all these trees really does help with the technique. There is so much technique that goes into chainsaw carving. Just like anything else, the people who make it look easy have been doing it for so long. And so I'm definitely not there yet, but I'm hopeful that next year for craft season, we will be able to do 2 booths. So with the Apple Fest that we did in New York, we signed up for 2 booths. So got a lot to do, and I still have the laser engraver, but I really enjoy being outside now. And so anyway, for now, my focus is going to be, I think, on these trees, because I am not going to be able to sell a bear in the next 3-4 months. But I think I'll be able to start selling these trees almost immediately. And like I said, we have the event coming up next week, Pumpkins for Packas, where we'll have a bunch of people here. So we'll have our tent set up with our hats and our yarn and our ornaments. And then I think, I would like to also have some of these trees around. So I think that's gonna about do it for this video. I thank you guys very much for watching and sticking around to the end, and we will see you in the next one.